of Poetry organized by ELTI, English Language Teachers Association of India, Thiruvarur chapter. Now, may I invite Ms. Ranjani to welcome the gathering.
Good evening, everyone. ELTI Thiruvarur extends a warm welcome to one and all to its 22nd webinar on English language teaching. Today we have with us Dr. Vincent presenting on the topic Teaching of Poetry. Welcome, Dr. Vincent. Dr. Vincent is a retired professor of English from Arul Anandar Autonomous College, Karumattur, Madurai. He is an ELT expert who has retired 22 years ago but still is passionate about English language teaching. He has translated more than 30 books from English to Tamil. He has brought out Mudumai Inimai, Nadain Godimer, Valarga Uyerga, and Edgar Allan Poe in Tamil, and English translations of contemporary Tamil poems and the short stories of Kumaranandan. With Dr. Lawrence, he has translated Veerama Munivar's Paramartha Guruvin Kathai and Mayuram Vedanayagam Pillai's Prataba Mudaliyar Charitram, the first novel in Tamil, into English. Other important books translated by him are Paulo Coelho's Fifth Mountain, Ivan Illich's Deschooling Society, and Dostoevsky's The Idiot. He has also written books on fine teaching skills, soft skills, the teaching of English, Let's Speak English, and Let's Speak English in 5 levels. We welcome you once again, sir. Before we proceed into the session, a few housekeeping rules for all of us to follow. Kindly keep your microphone muted unless you are asked to unmute it. Kindly also make use of the chat box to post your queries and comments. Dr. Vincent wishes to make this an interactive session, so please feel free to interact and respond when asked for. Thank you. You can take over, sir.
Thank you very much for your very kind words, Ranjani. Really honored to be here with you this afternoon to have a session with you on the teaching of poetry. It is indeed a pleasant duty for me to be with you and to share my ideas about English language teaching. Many may not agree with my unconventional ways of teaching, but I hope that what I am going to do today will be of some help to all of you teachers. First of all, I would like to ask you to have your notepad and pen or pencil with you ready. Is it all right? Then, when asked questions, you can answer them by just unmuting yourself, and then you can answer. You can also give some answers in the chat box, but I prefer you to answer. And this will not be a theory of poetry teaching. This will not also be instruction as to how to teach poetry, but it will be a kind of a demonstration in which you will find out, or you can extract the method that I have used in doing this. So naturally, your task is twofold. Your work is twofold. First of all, you have to be a participant in this program. That is, read or do whatever I ask you to do. At the same time, what these tasks are and why these tasks are given. Is it all right? So at the end, towards the end, I hope you'll have time. Some of you may have to tell me about these tasks and why they are given, or what the importance of each one of these activities is. As a matter of fact, I used to be called, when I was in active service and even later that I am a taskmaster. So I give tasks. Now also I will be giving you tasks. I'm sure that you will be able to do it. The first task is this. The present caste system. Do you think that it is prevalent as it was many years ago? The question that I am going to answer is this. You know, there are many concessions and various kinds of scholarships are available for the so-called scheduled caste people. Even after 3/4 of a century, we are continuing it. Do you think that, yes, Mr. Johnson? Any question?
Yeah, no,
So,
sir, you can go ahead. Yeah.
the question is, do you think that we should continue with this scholarships or special reservations and so on for the scheduled caste even after so many years? If, I think that the answer that I expect is this. He must give at least 4 reasons why we should continue. So the implication is we should continue. And why should we give them? Please write them down very quickly in 2 minutes' time. Am I clear with the question? Why we should continue with the reservation for scheduled caste people?
Yeah. So,
There's three or 4 will be enough.
okay.
Yes, please. I can read out your answers.
Yes, sir. To establish social
Justice from the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah,
Yes.
yes, sir.
Any other? Why should we continue? Continue doing it. Anybody?
Only one answer, sir, so far.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we can go for the passage.
I will give you the answer. Now, the leads, as they are called now, who are scheduled caste people, or whatever it is, however you call them, have been subjected to Ranjani, yes. The majority belongs to this class. Not that cannot be the reason. Simply because the majority, no, only 20, small percentage, not a majority, minority only. The reason is that they have been subjected to such hardships, cruelty, suppression for centuries. For thousands of years, they have been subjected to this. And so they need a long time to come out of this suppressed behavior. Right? Here, yeah, that's right. Some people do not have. That's right. We have historical inequalities continue. So somehow or other we must bring them equal to the, not necessarily the upper class people, so-called upper class people, at least the middle level. And it takes time. All right. This is the first task that I gave you. Thank you for responding. The second one is, thank you. The second one is not actually a task. I am going to tell you a short story, which I recently read. Some of you have already read it, perhaps. It's by Toni Morrison, the Nobel laureate. I heard about her. She has written a short story. The title is Sweetness. Now, the sweetness is not the name of anything, but the name of a woman, a black, I can't say black, she won't accept that, a black woman, 63-year-old woman who is in a hospital, a nursing home, because of her illness, and she narrates her story. The story is not actually hers, but the story of her daughter. A daughter was born to her, and in the hospital, she was shocked to find that the girl was dark as night, dark as a black woman, black girl, black infant from Negro country. Sorry to use the word. It was not used. So she was shocked. She did not know what to do because her color is not black, it's pale, yellow, and sometimes her hair is not actually black, and it's not also curling like she's like that of any other woman. But here, this girl is like that, and the mother of this 63-year-old woman was also so whitish that she married a person who was as white as she was. And after her marriage, she did not correspond with her sisters. So it means that the girl is very much shocked by the sight of her child, and she actually wanted to smother her. It was not clearly said, but she had that. But somehow or other, she had allowed that to come back home. And when she came back, there was a big problem. The issue was this: her husband, called Louis, suspected her fidelity. He thought that only because of her illicit relationship with some man, the child is so black. And he said, in my family also, there are not people as black as this. And in your family also, it was not like this. Then how is it that this child is so black? So he just left her and the child. The woman and her child together lived in a difficult life, and they had to look for a home. And she had to leave the child somewhere, because if she took her, they won't give her a house. The reason is this: no, black persons, very dark persons, would not be allowed to live in areas where white people lived. So these are some of the problems she has to face. And again, she had to be very strict with the child. She did not allow her to go out freely, because the white boys would beat her up. Or if she went to the grocery shop, there they would spit at her. And the price of even the carry bag would be very high for the black people. So because of this reason, she had to be careful, and she brought her up very strictly. So strictly that the child, when she grew up, started hating her mother. So after some time, she left her mother. She went to a far off place, perhaps to California, and earned a lot of a thick package and lived very comfortably. And she did not come to visit her mother at all. Only once or twice she came, but she gave money for the maintenance of her mother. Now, suddenly she got a letter in which she said she was going to become a mother. The woman was not sure whether it was through by her husband, or by a boyfriend, or without any fixed person. It was like that. But she was dark. She was accepted in the present society, and she had a good job. And this was a change that she had not expected. But anyhow, she said she must be careful with the child who was going to be born. Why? Because if she happened to be the child knew that the child that she's going to bear happens to be a black girl, dark girl, then there will be a problem. And as a mother, she has to repeat what she herself had done. This is a story. Now, very simple question: what is the main theme of this short story? Give me in 1 or 2 words. Just one word. One word. Yes? Anyone? Due to what did she suffer? Did the woman make her own child suffer? What's the reason? Main reason? Exactly. Thank you very much. Racial discrimination. Any other answer? Racism. Excellent, excellent. Apartheid. No, the apartheid, that particular term is used in South Africa only. That kind of thing is very, very different from the apartheid or this kind of problem that you observe in England or in America. Thank you very much. So I'm happy that you listened to the story very carefully and you were able to, yeah, Black Lives Matter. Yes, very good, very good. So I'm happy about it. Now let's go to the third task. Now Mr. Susai will project the story. You have to read it. I give you 5 minutes time to read it. Is it possible for you to read it in 5 minutes? I hope so. Are you able to see it, read it?
Yeah, yes, sir. I think it's visible, so every participant would read, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, shall I go for the second, next slide, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now, you have a set of questions. You just write in your notebook, just the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Just write T or F against each. That's all. The fifth question you need not answer. It's enough you just know those words. All right. Shall we go for the answers? And one of you can unmute and say. Suganti, can you go for the answers?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, for the first one, false.
Yes. Yes.
Second one, true.
Yes.
Third one, true. Fourth one, true. Fifth one, I just... Okay, sir.
Yes.
Sixth one, racial discrimination, sir.
Any other answer for this second question? Second question. The first one is he says one of the answers is the policeman may be well educated, but you look at the words that he uses. What kind of words does he use? The words he uses, the colloquial language he employs, it shows that he's not well educated. He's a kind of a ruffian. Second one, he's not a young boy, he's a doctor, right? Yes, madam. So second one is false. The others are all right. Now, what about the sixth question? Is it racial discrimination only, or it also includes B? Very good. Does it not include A also? White supremacy? Yes. So all the three answers are there. But if you want to grade them, the first one will be racial discrimination. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Rashmi. The first one will be racial discrimination. The second one will be either white superiority or policeman's arrogance, brutality, and so on. Thank you. Now, the second task, is it that task? It's over. Thank you. Now, we are going to have a dialogue between a landlady and a tenant. Your own participants will be doing it. Can we have that, madam? Sir, Gauri
Yes,
Shankar?
sir.
Yes, madam.
Yes, sir.
You can start.
Oh,
You are the landlady.
yeah. Shall I
Let me
start,
be
sir?
the, ma'am, let
Yes.
me be the tenant, okay?
Okay, okay.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. Sir, are you looking for a house
Yes, ma'am,
to rent?
I'm eagerly looking for the house for my family. My family consists of, myself, my wife, and 2 children.
How old are your children, sir?
My children are the elder one. The elder one is 7 years old. The younger one is 5 years old.
Okay. Are they studying in a nearby school?
Actually speaking, they are continuing their education through virtual mode, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, right now that is the situation. Like, do you own a car, sir? Do you have a car?
No, ma'am, we don't have a car.
No.
We have
A
only
two-wheeler?
two wheeler. Yes, ma'am. We have only
Yes.
one two wheeler.
Okay. Now, which is your native place, sir? Where do you come from?
I come from Salem, ma'am.
Salem. Okay, that's my native place too. I'm glad about it. Where are you
Okay, ma'am.
working, sir?
I'm working in Tirupur, ma'am.
Okay. May I ask you what your monthly income would be?
My monthly
Approximately.
approximately 50,000.
Okay, fine. So there would be no problem in you're paying me the rent every month, I think. I want the rent by the 5th of every month, sir.
Oh, sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
We shall discuss a few details and then I shall take you around the house, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Now, you said you got 2 little kids. So
Yes,
we
ma'am.
prefer a silent background. So please take care to see that there's not too much of noise and shout from the kids. Okay, I
Okay,
don't
ma'am.
restrict their playing, but
Okay.
it shouldn't be too much of a nuisance, right?
Okay.
And then
Okay,
you
ma'am.
spoke about the two-wheeler, sir. So
Yes,
kindly
ma'am.
make it a point to return home by 9 o'clock, 9 p.m.
Okay,
We shall
ma'am.
lock the gates at 9:30. I shall give you a key to the gate.
Okay.
So if at all you're going to come later, you can use it, but let it not be a regular habit, sir, because we
Okay,
are
ma'am.
peace-loving people. We prefer silence, and I have some old people in the house. So kindly take care of that. And
Ma'am,
one more thing is, yes,
yes, ma'am.
yes, sir.
Actually, you are looking like a very tough landlord, ma'am. So I'm
Don't
little
make me laugh,
afraid.
sir. I'm putting on a show now. Don't make me laugh now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir, then I want the house to be maintained in a very clean and tidy manner. So
Okay.
apart from the rent, you'll have to pay me something for maintenance. And please see that you don't drill nails in the walls and all. So there shouldn't be lots of pictures hanging on the walls. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Then electricity bill and water, you'll have separate cards for that. So I'll collect the rent from you plus this maintenance charge. Okay, this is a 2-bedroom house. You got all the amenities. You can go around the house. I'll give you the keys. Please go in, check everything, and then you can come back to me for more questions and discussion. Okay, sir?
Ma'am. What will be the monthly rent, ma'am?
I didn't expect this question. Okay, around 15,000, sir. 15,000.
15,000.
Yeah.
I have to think over, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Okay, ma'am. If
You had a look at the house, sir? You had
yes,
a look
ma'am.
at the
Yes,
house?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I look at the
Okay,
house
sir.
and I'll discuss with
Yeah.
my wife and kids.
Okay, sir.
Then I'll come to you, ma'am.
You can
Thank you,
bring
ma'am.
her also here. Sir,
Okay.
though since I'm a retired headmistress, I sound a bit strict, but
Okay.
actually I'm a kind and loving person. You
Of
can
course,
come back
ma'am.
again with your family and visit the house. You can take my number. You could inform me over the phone also. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Very strict landlady. I'm
Okay,
happy that you did not ask 2 questions. One, about the religion of the person.
Okay.
2, about the caste of the person. I think that in
What's
many
the second one,
places,
sir? So second one, sir?
caste.
Caste. Oh, no, I don't. Okay. Right.
No, people
Okay.
nowadays, I understand, ask these details also. I'm happy that you didn't ask them. Thank you very much. Very good, very
Thank
kind
you,
of you to have participated like this. And I'm really grateful to you for your contribution.
Thank you for the
madam.
opportunity, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. Now, That's where the points of discrimination come. Right, very good. Now, the next is not actually a task. Can we go to the pictures, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We can quickly show the. Sorry, Mr. Susan. We can quickly
Yes, sir.
show the poem.
Yes, sir.
The
Yeah.
poem.
Yeah.
Don't read. Quickly glance through. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide, please. Now, this please unmute. Everybody can unmute and tell me what is this about? What happens in this particular poem? Do you think that's a conversation? All can unmute and say. Is there a conversation?
Think so.
Between whom?
Some African guy and this
Monologue? Is it a monologue?
Telephonic conversation, sir. Telephonic
Yes.
conversation.
Yeah, very good. Excellent.
yeah, her receiver ring. Yeah, exactly.
Did everybody get it? The telephonic conversation between black person and then
A brunette.
A blonde.
who else?
A blonde.
Blonde. Yes.
Now who else? Okay, think about it. Now let us see the pictures. Mr. Susi, the
Yes, sir.
pictures. Now, what do you see in the picture? Unmute and answer. Everybody
Telephone
can unmute.
booth. Telephone booth.
Boat and polluting bus.
Probably in England in the 60s. Then next, this one on the left. On the left.
A blonde.
Inside of the telephone booth and
Telephone
two
booth.
ladies,
What will you
blonde
have?
and brunette.
This one, please wait.
Brunette.
Please wait. They'll come. First picture once again.
Inside of the telephone booth,
Very good. This one. What do you see here?
An empty, a closed telephone booth.
On the right side. This one. Right
the
side.
bus, polluting one,
Yeah, plus. What is it?
pollution.
Actually,
Black. Okay, smoke. Black smoke.
smoke.
Is it?
What word will you use for this bus sending out to the smoke? Which word is appropriate?
Exhaust. Exhaust of the
fumes,
bus.
very good. Yes, very good. What is it doing? The verb, I want a verb.
Emanating
Moving
smoke.
Emanating, very good, very good.
Emitting.
Yeah.
Emitting.
Emitting. Very good. Okay, now think about it. Now, let us go to the next slide. Next slide, please. Now, what do you, no, the picture.
This one, sir?
Next one. Yes. What do you have here? Two women. What's the color of the first one and the second one?
Blonde and brunette.
Blonde.
Brunette.
Yes. Blonde and brunette. Very good. Slightly brunette is brownish black, and this one is
Golden.
what can I say? Almost
Golden.
white, golden. Is there that picture? Another picture, Mr. Susi? Is there another picture? The sepia. That is missing.
Yes,
Doesn't
sir, but that's missing, sir. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, doesn't that? No, there is another color sepia. So a kind of a dark brown. I had the picture, but somehow it's missing. Doesn't matter. Now remember this. Now go back to the next slide. Go to the next slide. Sir.
A poem, sir?
Before that, there is another instruction.
Yeah.
Before that, yeah. Find the meaning of premises. You know the meaning of the word premises. I'm skipping that. Good breeding. Good breeding. Premises, of course, you know, the school premises, college premises, or the apartment premises. Good breeding means?
Well mannered. Somebody is brought up with well mannered.
Brought up well.
Yes, fit. It's a difficult word. Doesn't matter. Rancid. Kind of a
So
bad-
acid,
That's
something.
really-
does it-
Acid like.
Acid, no?
Swelling, yes, very good. Bad smelling.
Stale.
Acidic, that's it.
Yeah, acidic.
Squelch,
It's a sound, squelching sound, crushing something, is it?
yeah, gushing out. Can we use it for the emittance of fumes by the bus?
No, I guess.
No, I don't think so, sir.
Squelching smoke?
It's when you crush something, then it's like use, I guess, squelching sound. I guess. Can we Google alongside?
Think about it. Then,
Scent.
so now can you guess? Of course, Scipia, assent means giving your
Yes,
accent.
permission, allowing
Consent,
something.
consent, giving consent.
Yeah. Good. Now let us go to the poem itself. Go through it, go through the poem, and then spend 10 minutes time to read this poem. Is it all right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Next slide, please.
Yes, sir.
Next slide, please. Next slide. right? Enough? Right, please wait.
Yes, sir.
Now, friends, I would like you to unmute, and then all of you can do that. And tell me, once again, where does this conversation take place? Anybody
on
can
phone.
answer.
Here in London.
Telephone booth in London.
Telephone booth in London. And then what about the other person? Where is she? The African is in telephone booth. And what about the other person? The
She's
landlady.
not around. She's staying somewhere else, like as it was mentioned.
She's far off, maybe,
in the
from where
apartment
she's.
to be, in the apartment to be rented? No, somewhere. She lives somewhere. Now, if you have watched it, the conversation takes place about what?
Renting the
Renting the
house.
house.
Getting the house for rent. And he is an African and she is a white lady, obvious. Now the question is this. No, I'm not going to ask any question. I want two volunteers. Now you find that the speech or narration goes on. And in between you have the conversation. Did you notice that? The one that is spoken by the African is not in the capitals. And the words spoken by the landlady are in the capital letters. So it is easy to identify what the man asks and what the landlady answers. Is it all right? So, keeping the poem before you, the first stanza, I want two volunteers to come out, volunteers to come out, and then read. One will be reading out what the African says, and the other will be reading out from what the landlady speaks. Is it all right? Who will volunteer?
Is it to be read from the poem itself?
Yeah, yes. If you read it more closely, you will find that some portions are spoken and they are put within quotes, right? You see that?
Yeah. Yes,
And
sir.
then similarly, the another version will be in capital letters. They are spoken by,
The white lady.
yeah. So one will take the role of the white lady, and another the role of the African. So read up. Yeah. Who will do it?
Fine. I'll take the African one.
Yes,
Somebody,
very good.
white lady, please come in.
Anybody?
We just have to read from this only. So I guess.
That is all. Simply read.
I'll read it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Sabina ma'am. Fine.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
The white lady is there.
The others,
Okay.
please mute. Please mute. I also mute.
Is there somebody going to be a narrator, or we simply read out our dialogues? You are mute. You are on mute, sir. Vincent, sir, you are on mute.
So only the conversation is read out. The narration is not read out. Right?
Okay. Okay. Madam.
So who will begin? The
Okay,
African?
I am the African one, so I'll just read it. Madam, I hate a wasted journey. I'm African.
So I have to read from the
You have
silence
to read. No, the capital ones. Okay, he has to change the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. How dark?
Maybe we'll start from the beginning. Yeah.
Again, yes. Now we get it. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead.
Madam, I hate a wasted journey. I'm African.
How dark? Are you light or very dark? Are you dark or very light?
You mean like plain or milk chocolate? West African sepia, down in my passport.
What's that? Don't know what that is. That's dark, isn't it?
Just a sec, let me say light brunette. Getting my point? You have a dialogue and then my dialogue comes in like brunette. Then you'll see.
That's dark, isn't it?
Not altogether. Facially, I'm brunette. But, madam, you should see the rest of me. Palm of my hand, soles of my feet are a peroxide blonde. Friction caused foolishly, madam, by sitting down has turned my bottom raven black. One moment, madam. Madam, wouldn't you rather see for yourself?
Excellent presentation. Thank you very much. Now, you can read the poem once again, all of you. Please read the poem. And then you can take now, I think, 5 minutes to read the poem. And then answer the questions given. Thank you. Well done, teachers. Right. Read the poem once again more closely. Next slide, please.
Shall I go for the questions?
Ready for the questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The same way as you did the first task, just write 1, 2, 3, 4, and then write true or false. Someone can go on typing also. All right. Shall we see the answers? Number one, everybody can unmute. The first one is true. The second one also is true. Third one also is true. Fourth one, false. Right. Fifth one, false. Why? The landlady lives off the premises. She does not live within the house. 5, the landlady is not smoking a cigar. She is smoking a pipe, right? Cigarette pipe.
Okay, fine. Cigar.
And then the next one is buttons.
False.
A and B are short buttons.
No.
No, they are
They are
phone
False.
buttons, I guess.
Will
Yeah.
be phone booth, no? Will be buttons.
The
Possibly A for one language and B for another language and so on. We do not know what happened in the 1960s. Then the African lady, the African is partly black, partly white.
No.
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 So why? But the answers are confusing. Why does he say that? Why does the poet use these words? So that we get confused whether he is black or white. That's all. Simply that it's there. No, he is a blackish, because, and his palms are white.
It's natural they are white. Palms and the
What about
feet.
So,
button.
So what do they indicate? He is a human being, right? Like the landlady, right? The landlady will not rent out the house to him.
True.
True. Or possibly she making. The poem is about African inferiority.
False.
No.
False.
No. Then about what?
It's superiority of the white lady.
White superiority,
Attitude.
white discrimination.
Yeah, African inferiority.
And
That
frustration
also
of
is
the
there
man.
to some extent, yes. But no. I'll ask this question. What's the tone of the poem? Very serious tone? Or humorous?
Conversational.
More of a satire. It's satirical.
Ironic? And there is humor in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially the last line. The last line.
Yes. Would you like to see yourself? Yes.
Very good. What's the structure of the poem? Why do you find that the words of the African are given in lowercase, and those of the African, those of the landlady given in capitals?
Emphasis.
Emphasis? Anybody else? Any other answer? The superiority. No,
Yeah,
capital.
superiority. Yes.
Now, next slide.
Yes.
How many of you got 9 out of 9 in this? 9 out of 9.
8.
I think Rashmi got 8, I think.
8,
Okay.
sir. I too got 8.
Oh, you good. Okay.
Very good. Very good. Very good score.
The fifth one turned out to be false because we didn't get it. Like it's cigar or something. She was smoking something.
That's okay. Very good. Now go to the next set of questions.
Yeah,
No,
again,
they have read it. So
they've
skip
already
that,
read
please.
it. Yes, sir.
Now, color. Which words indicate color? Or do you think that the poem is full of colors?
Yes, it is,
Basically,
because several
so-
objects are mentioned in the poem.
What about
Chocolates.
yeah, right. Or color related to color?
The
What about
telephone booth.
spectroscopic? Spectroscopic. There's a word, spectroscopic. What does it suggest? Anybody who knows physics? Spectrometer.
Like something that
Something
shades
related
of
to
color. Something.
X-ray
Yes.
and
The
spectroscope.
colors of the rainbow. So,
Prism
yeah,
is seen through the spectroscope, sir. Prism.
prism. Yeah,
Spectrum of colors.
very good. Now, these are all tasks which can be do at home. There's a C or D can be omitted, but we can write down the main effect of the poem it has on you. The theme of the poem, the main effect of the poem. So, thank you.
Let us reflect.
Thank you very much. The lesson is over. Right?
Yeah, this is.
This is a discussion which you can do. We already discussed some of them, but we can do it in groups if it is a classroom. Okay? In the beginning, it was somewhat serious, then playful, then humorous, and so on. It's a kind of a movement. Yes. Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, the problem that I am posing is this. What are the steps involved in this poem? Each one can give one. I am getting the reply only from a few. The others do not reply. There are 16 other participants. Can someone say, what is the first one? There is a writing task. About what? What is the reason? Why was this task given? A written task about caste discrimination in India. What's the purpose? The theme. The theme of the poem is that. Second. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Sabir. Then, second task is a short story from whom? Anybody? Short story by
Toni Morrison's Sweetness.
Excellent. What does it show? That again, the color. This happens in America. Yes. The color discrimination, the color differences. Even yes, there is a difference between what they call a mulatto, which will be half black or half white. That is thin white, and then another one, it will be very dark and so on. So that is a point that you have to take. And that activity, is it relevant to the main purpose? Yes, because that's also about discrimination. Then the third activity, reading a short passage. Yes, about
poem, I guess.
Racial discrimination. So the readers. Sorry, somebody was something. We will come back to it later. So every task has its own significance. Now the learners are getting ready about the theme. All the three focus on the theme, and then the next one will be very simple. Very appropriate of the poem itself. Vocabulary, words related to it are taught like that. I was not giving the meaning. Then what next? How many times did he read? First, a rapid survey to find out what is going on in the poem. Second one, a dialogue between two students, I'll call these students, two students about one acting out the role of a landlady, and the other about the tenant. And once again, now many of the things, ideas will come out. That this is going to be a telephone conversation between a landlady and a tenant. Then once again, going through the poem. This time, two students read out the conversation, the major conversation, without the narration. Next, they read the entire poem, answered questions, and the previous one, before they started reading the poem, they are called pre-lesson activities. Now, after reading it, they have a number of post-lesson activities, which may extend to a number of hours together, depending upon it. Anybody who can name the poet, the author of the poem? Anybody? Somebody know? Sorry? I think so. Some professors also, I think, are present. Wole Soyinka, a Nigerian writer, dramatist, poet, Nigerian. Wole Soyinka, WOLE SOYINK.
YINK.
He's a very important writer, African writer, Nigerian, and he got his Nobel Prize, I think, in 73 or something. He's a very great poet. Now, at an advanced level, if there are postgraduate students present here, you can apply Fanon's Return of the Earth or Edward Said's Orientalism and so on to find out the racial discrimination that is experienced by people even today. Thank you very much. I think I have taken 3 more minutes, and you can give your questions, comments. I'm ready.
Yeah, yes, sir. So thank you so much. Yeah, Sabina.
Thank you, sir. Is there, the floor is open for questions. Any questions through the chat box, or you can unmute and ask questions to such an eminent scholar, Dr. Vincent.
How
So I
can
have
we
a question.
provide-
Okay. Yes, Rajini ma'am, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I was just trying to ask you, how do we bring in the contextual elements? When we read it the first time, we do know there is a trace of discrimination or there is a trace of colorism and so on. But how do we bring in those contextual details? We actually do not know, as we did the exercise here. If you know the name of the poet and the poem and so on, then I think the context can be established. But as we did it here today, how do we establish context?
The poet does not exist. Only the poem does. Right? The poem is there. It is there. That is all. Do not worry about the poem. Who wrote? What is his background and so on. Without that, you must be able to grasp the meaning. The context in which it is written, you have to arrive at the context from the context of the poem itself, not necessarily from the outside source. Is it all right? This is the mistake committed by most of the teachers today. They start giving the biographical details of the poet, what other poems he has written, what their themes are, and so on. And finally, they themselves give everything. Not necessary. Suppose I have now given you the name of the poet, and you can as well refer to it in any book, or Google gives you a lot of information about it, right? So why should I give this? Why should the teacher give it? Why should you give? Why should the teacher give everything to the student? Why don't you allow the student to do the work, right? And probably the next session, if you have any other doubt regarding some of the words or the phrases, the teacher can explain. Is it all right?
I do agree to a certain extent, but when we were stuck with reference to the cigar or the cigarette, I thought context was important.
Yeah, but when does it arise? Only when you have to read it more closely, you arrive at this difficulty. So I am not going to give you, right? I am not going to give you. You have to find out. I will ask them what is the read that line once again and then find out what it is. So I am not giving the answer. It is not the teacher who is giving. It's a student who has to do it. So that is where, in the present context, the teachers fail. They want to give everything to the students. They do not allow them to be creative. Right? It's very difficult. I know. It's not easy to do it. You like to do everything. Don't do it. Okay? Will you do that? The question is this. Do you think that these steps are possible for you to draw up and then use them in the classroom? Yeah, for any poem, whatever it
Certainly.
is. I chose this poem because I thought that this would be challenging for English teachers. That's it. That's the reason. Okay. Then next question, please. Thank you.
Sir, may I?
Yes, please.
Actually, sir, see, the way you have dealt with the poem, as far as my students' context is concerned, like they are young learners, no, 6 to 10 class. So, how should I treat, like, what should be my pedagogy? Like, should I go ahead with like teaching the poem like this only? And what about the other elements? What should I be focusing on while teaching them?
Thank you, madam. Very good question you have asked. Is it possible for you to do this kind of teaching in your classroom? Now, this poem is a difficult poem. Prescribed usually for postgraduate students or in this BA special branch 12 students, special BA students. So in the high school classes, it may not be prescribed. And the poems prescribed for you can be dealt with like this. But not, I don't think that all the poems can be done like this without the teacher's interruption, I would say. All the poems cannot be done. Some poems you may have to give explanations. No, that I am not quarreling with. But whenever it is possible for you to have number of activities to prepare them. Now, initially we prepare them in two ways. One, thematically. If the theme is important, then give lots of work on it. Because here the poem itself is theme. And the vocabulary, the context, in the context itself can be created through some activities. And that's possible. And after these activities, you ask, and then of course you can also have words. Words, their meanings can be given with either contextually or just the meaning, because the students may not be able to refer to the dictionary there itself and then do it. So give them some chance for them here you can help them. Instead of making them go to the dictionary, you can give the meaning in context with the pictures, and thus they will be able to understand the poem by themselves. The main purpose is this: the learner reads the poem and understands by herself. Is it all right? Do whatever you like. Your explanation should be as minimum as possible, as necessary as possible, and the decision is yours, depending upon the level of your students, the availability of resources, and of course your imagination. Right? Your imagination is very important. Thank you for very question.
Actually, my point is like rather than making my poem teaching in class just like reading comprehension, how should I actually treat it? Like poem comprehension should be in some different manner, or it should be the same way I be dealing with.
The same way to be done. No, whatever it is, even in a prose lesson, comprehension is important. Comprehension in a prose lesson is only related to the subject matter. Here, literary appreciation also comes. So if you have read my article, the chapter from my book, you will understand that. Usually the old ways of dealing with the problem are this. The student identifies the rhyme scheme first for children, for young children, rhyme scheme or rhythm and so on. It is impossible to grasp that rhythm as an Indian. I am not able to grasp that rhythm. It's very, very difficult to grasp the rhythm. And some of us become musical in reading out a poem. If you listen to E.M. Foster reciting his poem, you'll find that's just flat. Nothing else. So anyway, that's the first one, the sense, musical sense. Then next one will be just plain meaning of a poem. Every poem will have plain meaning. That the learners understand that. First step. Second step, the poem will have a number of images, lots of images. And all these images can be brought out by means of questions. Not you don't explain. Don't ask them what's the figure of speech here implied. No. What is compared to what? what is this picture? This is like a picture. What does it show? This image. This refers to a number of things. The symbol. Hey, this refers to symbol number of things. Does not mean the same thing. What does it mean? Like that. You put questions and then get the answer. And it needs a lot of experimentation on your part. Then finally, after going through these technical aspects like figures of speech, like other details like images and then symbols, you go to the theme. Not all poems will have symbols. Please know. Don't look for symbols in every poem or images in every poem. If the poem gives scope for it, you go through. And the next step will be finding out the theme. Again, it's not necessary that a poem should have a main theme. You have a main idea. You get that? What's the main idea? So that is finally arrived. Then after all these things, the student will have to write her own appreciation of the poem. The appreciation will include all these things. So at the school level, I think the appreciation demands all these aspects. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
I answered the question.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
And my question is to the whole assembly here. Only now 7 are left. 7 plus 5. My question is this: is it possible to do at least a part of it in your classroom?
Definitely, sir. We could do it, sir. You taught us the way, sir. You taught us the way, the right way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and then one more thing, sir. But
Yes.
as far as our government school teachers are concerned, so I mean, even they start teaching the language skills like LSRW. But is it important that the poetry should have the language skills?
The point I am making here is,
Yeah.
you can teach language skills. What is the first skill that was involved
Listening.
here? Listening, right? Writing.
Yeah.
Writing. That's the rote.
Writing,
Writing.
yes.
Then listening. Then reading.
Reading.
But without knowing that they are reading, without knowing that they are reading. You are not telling them that you are reading something. You are trained. You are being trained to. And I remember in a particular session, one professor was giving like grammar through poetry, and the audience consisted of English professors. They all rose in revolt. No, we do not want to spoil the poetry classes by giving them grammar. Then I had to intervene. So I had to intervene and tell them, poems like if, you can use, so you can teach them if class, like that. But better avoid direct teaching of skills. Direct teaching of skills. Indirectly, you can do that. So in a particular session, a long time ago, I demonstrated how a poem can be used to teach language skills. So all the skills can be taught. Nothing wrong. Is there anything wrong with that? Today I did it. Did you feel that I was teaching all these skills? No. But automatically these skills are.
Basically, you began with making us think. So thinking is the first step, and the other skills follow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not just ordinary thinking, creative thinking. And you can also relate to anything can be related to sociological issues. That's what you do. The social issues are related. So thank you. I had a very pleasant session.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you so much. And Sabina wanted to ask a question, I suppose.
Yes. So I just wanted to share something about how beautifully you brought in such a topic of racism and all that through scheduled caste, which we can relate in our country. I was just wanted to thank you for that aspect, because this poem given to us, how would we bring it into the classroom? So that was how you drew us into the theme, which was very close to us. And then you took us to a very, very higher order of which we are not related to, the blacks and the whites, which we are not, directly, we don't have that type of understanding. So I wanted to just appreciate on that. And I think the last part is vote of thanks, which, sir, can I render the vote of thanks, Susai sir?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Yeah. As we have come to the end of the session, the 22nd webinar of LTI Thiruvarur, the vote of thanks is just a formality, but today I have to say it's not a formality. Thank you, Sir Dr. Vincent, for the highly impactful demonstration of how to teach poetry. Dr. Vincent sir's examples were stunning, and he has provided a number of ideas to teach and appreciate poetry. Lucidly explained how to identify the structures, the rhymes, rhythms, symbols, figure of speech, the theme of the poem, and above all, to create an appreciation of poetry. It's the appreciation which lingers as lifelong learners. And my background is from English literature, and I have also presented a paper on poetry, a panacea during COVID times. When the lockdown came as a big blow, did not know how to take it. And my husband is a healthcare frontline warrior. So he was going every day and coming with COVID patients, and the house was very tensed. And for us, it was classrooms inside with exams going on, who just did not know how to do it. So I reached out to a friend of mine and said, I'm going through highly anxiety, depression. I don't know how to do it. My neighbor, childhood friend, she said, you used to write something in the notebook, some poems, some lines. So there's a group, a WhatsApp group that keeps writing every day. And I'll just introduce to Brinda ma'am, who's in Kadalur. So you can join the group and start writing something, scribbling something. So I didn't take it very seriously. And that group was with around 200 teachers around. Like 6 o'clock, we start writing. We wait for that group to open, very strict rules. And we started posting poems, and the theme is given. And everybody starts writing, and some of them are not from English. They're from maths, physics, chemistry, whatever other things, but they write such beautiful poems. So I think we're all addicted to it. And around 7 books have been published, anthology of poems by 7 eminent poets. And my book is on the way to publication. And it was actually what W.H. Auden says, poetry is clear expression of mixed feelings. So I think end of the day, when the student gets, it's a mixed feelings around the world of inclusive feelings and appreciation towards language. I think they've done it all. So I started looking back to teachers who had put this appreciation to poetry. It's not poetry, it's about feelings. And then there were a lot of people who had touched our hearts and the soul. There are a lot of teachers who touch our mind, but very few of them touch our heart. And very, very few of them touch our soul. And I think poetry can touch our soul. So then I started asking my friends, and where are they around? Some of them have retired. And Dr. Vincent, I have to say, like you, sir, they were gems. We are fortunate to listen to your the way of taking poetry. And I think your students must have touched many, many souls in real life. And then I reached out to all the professors who had touched my soul. And the head of the department was retired, and she's now 80 plus. So she's written a foreword. She said, no, I can't write. I said, just send your voice note, ma'am. And the foreword should be from you, because she had introduced Keats. Heard melodies are sweet, those unheard are sweeter. And that keeps lingering in my mind, because she had brought that ode to a Grecian urn, and every line stands. When you're 20, 22, you don't understand. So I wrote back to them to understand that, when you're old, you understand every line what it is. And when Susai sir reached out vote of thanks, I said, you love so much, it's called synchrodestiny. I love poetry, I breathe in poetry. If I had to express something, I just write it in 4 lines. So it's so simple to express. People get it it could be anything which you want. And so when sir just reached out, I said, yes, poetry is something which is dear to me. And when my husband asked me, what do you want? I said, I want to visit Wordsworth House. the Dove Cottage. That was my wish. And 2 years back we went, and it was a experience in itself, which I would never, ever forget. This is the place where on the couch which he lay. This is the garden which he saw. These are the daffodils which he. And after 20 years, that was in the classroom. So when I was unraveling it, it was nothing but to tell the industrial revolution, stop, look at nature. It was not just daffodils, it was beyond that. And the whole country and every store we went had a daffodil badge. So if you buy it for £1, that is donated to the nursing staff. So every store, everything had a small badge of daffodils. So when you go and get it for £1 and you take it and put it there, you're showing your solidarity to the nursing staff profession. And that is, so I was thinking poetry is beyond classrooms, beyond the textbook, beyond, it keeps going. And I could not understand what was daffodils, and it was taken in grade 8. And I had taught my students many times the poem Daffodils. And then later in life, maybe in masters also, we had a critical appreciation of daffodils, which it was just daffodils there. But with years, I understood that it is not daffodils, it's a symbol of something, it's something more. And the theme. So when Dr. Vincent sir was talking about this racism and everything, it is beyond. So once I think teachers do a good job there, it takes years for them to understand and go back to them. And thank you so much, sir, for making us all students. We all just became students for an hour, and we started participating, and we forgot that we are all teachers. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you to all the participants and LTI Thiruvarur for giving such opportunities for people to take part, and many more themed topics to come on its way. Thank you once again, Dr. Vincent sir, for your marvelous, wonderful, impactful presentation on how to teach poetry.
Yeah,
thank you, sir.
I really appreciate your passion for poetry, madam. Congratulations, Sabina.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Sabina, for a wonderful, sharing that we could. Please do share your poetry in our group also. Yeah, and,
definitely.
Thank you so much, sir. It was,
I think most of you who are here should be participating in that group, which is called Creative Writers Group.
Yeah.
So you can keep reading. Yeah, you can keep reading, and you can start publishing your own anthologies, because almost 10 anthologies have come during the COVID times.
Yeah.
So that's something which.
Yeah,
thank you so
much. Yes, yeah, thank you so much. Yes, sir. So we thank Dr. Vincent for spending his time with us. So we could. He's an eminent scholar from whom we could, learn a lot still. So we are looking forward to having a lot of, a number of sessions further. So thank you so much, sir, and I thank all the participants. So please do join us for our next week's webinar. So thank you so much. We are winding up.
Thank you.